for joining us today. We are really excited that you have... Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. We are really excited that you have taken time out of your day to be a part of us. I am very sure that you are going to be really inspired and empowered with education and knowledge. I also want to say a big thank you to the funders of our program and also to everyone that has sponsored this event. Our event would not have been this successful without each of you. Thank you for your support. Thank you to our sponsors and our volunteers, and most importantly, to each and every one of you, our community members. We thank you for joining us, and please stay tuned as we begin today's conference. Thank you.
Southern University's Center for Biomedical and Minority Health Research Community Engagement Corps is funded by the National Institute of Minority Health and Health Disparities Research Center for Minority Institutions program. The CEC works directly with communities to identify and address health-related concerns and reduce health disparities related to ethnic minorities. We provide health education and partnerships with healthcare systems, federally qualified health centers, community and faith-based organizations. For more information, visit us on social media at CEC Texas Southern or give us a call at 713-313-1233 or send us an email at cbmhrcommunity@tsu.edu.
We'd like to thank our collaborators and community partners for partaking in this event. First, I'd like to bring up Good Hope Missionary Baptist Church, who has allowed us to host this event at their venue. Founded in 1872 by Reverend Samuel Grantham, affectionately known as Father Grantham, Good Hope Missionary Baptist Church has been a steadfast pillar of spiritual heritage in Houston, Texas for over a century. From its origins in a humble brush arbor on Valentine Street to its present location, the church has not only nurtured souls, but championed movements for justice and equality under the leadership of pastors like Reverend Charles H. Hunt, Reverend Henry C. Cashaw, and Reverend Albert A. Lucas. Today, guided by Dr. D.Z. Cofield, Good Hope continues to foster spiritual growth and community empowerment through initiatives such as Hope Academy Charter School and Word of Hope Ministries, embodying a commitment to faith, service, and love. Welcome to Good Hope Missionary Baptist Church, where our rich legacy propels us toward a brighter future. And we thank Good Hope for that as well. Also in collaboration with this great event is the Theta Chi chapter of Omega Psi Phi. Established in 1955, sorry about that, change slide, excuse me. Established in 1955, the Theta Chi chapter of Omega Psi Phi fraternity has stood as a beacon of excellence and leadership in Prairie View, Texas. Founded on the principles of service, scholarship, and friendship, Theta Chi has grown into a vital force within the community. Their philanthropic efforts extend to supporting indigent families and fostering educational opportunities for local youth through robust scholarship programs. Aligned with the broader initiatives of Omega Psi Phi fraternity, Theta Chi collaborates with organizations like the Alzheimer's Association and the National Institute of Minority Health to advocate for mental health awareness and support. Leveraging these partnerships, Theta Chi drives positive change within the community while continuing its commitment to service. Through quarterly blood drives with the Gulf Coast Regional Blood Center and innovative programs empowering future leaders, Theta Chi embodies resilience, self-motivation, and collaboration. Theta Chi, where the legacy of friendship, brotherhood, and impactful service thrives. Under the direction of Chapter Basilis Duria Lucas and Vice Basilis Lester Williams and previous leadership, the Theta Chi chapter of Omega Psi Phi fraternity has awarded thousands of dollars in college scholarships and completed many hours of community service in the Houston community. So next, we'd like to say thank you to our sponsors. Without them, this event also wouldn't be possible. That would be to Walmart, Aflac, and Aetna, as they continue to help us financially as well as with their time and efforts to support our program. So we truly appreciate them. Lastly, we want to thank our internal supporters, beginning with the university leadership team, the College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences Department, staff and volunteers who are here with us today. So as stated before, welcome to our Mind Matters Health Education Seminar. For our guests online, please scan the QR code and complete the survey on the website. For community health workers, please complete the CHW sign-in as well as a program evaluation to receive the 1.5 CHW credits for attending the program today. We will be streaming the event live through Facebook and YouTube as well as Zoom. Please complete the survey. For our in-person guests, we'll have surveys using the QR code at our table at the end that we ask that you fill out as well. Now I'd like to introduce our guest speaker today, Ms. Carlette Matuire. Carlette Matuire is a counselor at heart with a business professional's mind. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree in corporate communication from the University of Texas at Austin and a Master's Art degree in counseling from Prairie View A&M University. Carlette has been a counselor for 15 years and is a licensed professional counselor in Texas, a Texas professional school counselor, and a trained compassion fatigue professional. She has experience in education at the secondary, district administration, as well as the collegiate level. She has also worked in private sector and in healthcare. Carlette is the founder and CEO of Clear Sense Management Company and the practice owner principal provider of CSM Counseling, where she focuses on reducing the stigma associated with seeking mental health services while helping clients achieve wholeness in their lives. She is also a contributing author to the textbook Administrative Leadership and School Counselors, Building on Theories, Standards, and Experience for Optimal Mental Health Collaboration. Carlette has been a featured panelist and presenter for various state and national organizations. She is also the host of Seen, Heard, Whole podcasts. Carlette beams with pride using another title, Mrs. Tristan Matuire. Tristan and Carlette are high school sweethearts and have been married for 17 years. Without further ado, I present to you Ms. Carlette Matuire.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I am excited that you all are here. For those of us who are mental health professionals, we geek out anytime somebody wants to hear us talking about mental health. We're like, yes. So please know that we are very honored to have you here as well. Thank you to Virgil and his wonderful team. I don't take it lightly that I get to stand before you. It is quite an honor to be able to do so. You know, time and knowledge are probably two of our greatest gifts. Time, because once it goes out, you can't get that back. And so you want to make sure that when you come and spend your time somewhere, it's worth the time. And so I appreciate you all being here to spend some time with us. I know that the team does as well. And then knowledge, knowledge is something that can transcend time, right? Transcend generations. And so the fact that I get to engage in knowledge sharing with you all today is also a gift. Because here's the thing. Those accolades are great, and you can be the smartest person in the room, in the world, and if no one wants to hear what you have to say, that knowledge then remains with you. And so I am always grateful for opportunities to engage in knowledge sharing with my peers and with those who are just generally interested. Well, even if you're not interested, I will talk to you about mental health. You'll be interested at the end, but I'm always grateful to be able to share, okay? So we are going to get into it, but before we do that, as an esteemed graduate of the University of Texas at Austin with my corporate communication major, one of the first things they taught us is that whenever you stand in front of someone, you need to gaze the audience and find someone who is making eye contact with you, and you begin to shake your head at that person because you want that person, yep, I see you. You want that person to connect with you and come into agreement that if this all goes down in flames, you're just going to keep shaking your head saying, Carlette, yes, good job. You are doing great. Keep talking. Okay, so I've already made 2 agreements. I see 2 right there that they're just going to keep shaking their head even if fire is coming down behind me. That's the first thing. So, are you ready to get started? All right, let's do it. So it is no surprise knowing that one of the foundational pillars of my practice really focuses on being whole. This lovely loaf of bread here is going to make sense to you as we go through the presentation. It is not just because I love bread. There's some meaning behind it. So this is a quote from Jane Fonda. Oh, and by the way, you all, I am a former educator, as you all saw, so I do engage in proximity control, which means I walk around and get close to people just to make sure they're still paying attention, because I work with 16 and 17-year-olds, and we know how that goes. All right. So Jane Fonda says, we are not meant to be perfect. We are meant to be whole. And I think sometimes we lose sight of the fact that we are not aiming for perfection. We could be aiming for wholeness in these 8 areas of our life. And I'm going to get to those 8 areas before we finish out today. But here's the thing. All of this stuff looks like striving for perfection. And I guarantee you, I do want to be excellent in all things, right? I think that's a command that we have, even biblically, to be excellent in the things that we do. But to the outside perspective, this can look like striving for perfection. And so I want to tell you all off the bat, all of these things that you see up here are great. My mom gets to go to her church down the street and brag about how great her girls are and how we got over in Jesus' name, right, to be able to be successful and accomplish all of these things. However, sorry about that, this is me. This is actually the professional photo when I'm speaking in other organizations and in other groups that I show. Yes, this is me at 6 months old. My mom has gathered up all the hair that was not on my head and tried to fit it in that barrette that's on the top of my head. But the reason why this is actually my professional headshot is because this is what I want at the end of the day, anyone talking to me to remember. I'm a human being. I'm someone's daughter. I'm someone's wife. I'm someone's sister. I'm someone's friend. And all of those perfection-like things that come behind this, right, we can get lost in that and allow that to frame who we are, how we think, how we behave, and then sometimes how we feel about ourselves and the world, right? But there are some reasons for this, so let's get to some of the reasons why. Not all, some. So first, we can define ourselves by things outside of just who we are as a human being as a result of emotional overwhelm. So, it just becomes so overwhelming to have to sit with ourselves sometimes that it's better to chase a degree. It's better to go after accolades and other things, right, outside of us that seem so important because emotionally, I think of it as if you've ever watched, I see it when they do it in Vegas, when they're about to bring down, one of the casino and hotels, and that implosion, right, that controlled explosion, sometimes that's happening to us. But we don't want to show that. We want to show that everything is okay and buttoned up, when on the inside we really could be imploding. Chaotic environments. So for some of us, if we're honest with ourselves, we have come from chaotic environments. Chaotic environments can consist of violence in the home. Maybe you have experienced violence at school. But the environment was chaotic. Maybe there were people coming in and out of your house a lot. Maybe you were going in and out of a house a lot. I'm going to come back to social determinants in just a second. Also, adverse childhood experiences. Right now, you can Google ACEs or adverse childhood experiences right now, and you can actually take that survey. And what I like about that survey is that it points out some of the things that we, even in this room, myself included, have experienced that have the potential to affect how susceptible we may be to traumatic experiences in adulthood. Things that you wouldn't even consider because depending on our background, we have this saying, it is what it is. But it isn't. And those things should be acknowledged. So, for instance, I'm very of my life. Now, it doesn't lead my life, but it is there, and I get to acknowledge that. Other things, complicated grief that goes on for a while. And what I'd like to point out about complicated grief and how it impacts our frame is that a lot of us do not give credit to the types of loss that impact us. This is not just about the death of a loved one. It's about the loss of what was. There's an individual, I can't recall her name off the top of my head, but she compiled a 25 pages, right? So imagine that, 25 pages of the types of losses we can have. And sometimes those losses are happening at the same time. I know you're like, whoa, what? So you can lose a parent, your job, your home, your cat, all at the same time. You can even lose a sense of self, maybe a series of losses, and not acknowledging that we need to go through the grieving process. Also, attachment difficulties. When I'm in my office, I use the example of giving someone a piece of masking tape. And I ask them to put it on their clothes and then take it off and pass it and put it on their clothes, take it off, pass it around. By the time we've maybe gotten to the 6th or 7th person, they're trying to do this with the tape, right? Because the adhesive on it is no longer sticking. And the truth is, that's some of us. That we have tried to securely attach, and we haven't been able to do it successfully because the people that we may be attaching ourselves to or trying to also have insecure attachment behaviors, and we are trying to figure out, for the life of us, why can't I make this marriage work? Why can't I make this job work? Like, why am I the one always getting fired? Attachment. Trying to figure that out. Also, undiagnosed mental illness, invalidating environments. I love to bring up invalidating environments because invalidating environments say this: you don't fit here. My best example of this, working in a high school, is having a student who was a gifted pianist. I mean, he could play like nobody's business, but he came from a family of athletes. Who cares? Now, I want to go back up to social determinants of mental health, because in the research that we as counselors and therapists are seeing, we're very grateful that it's giving rise to understanding how social determinants impact mental health and well-being.